rod that could split the sea, a staff that summoned plagues and defied the most powerful empire of its time. The staff of Moses is one of the most mysterious artifacts in religious history. It played a role in some of the most defining moments of the Exodus, shaping the destiny of an entire people. But was it merely a shepherd's tool, or did it hold divine power? Was it a unique instrument of God, or was it part of a much older tradition of sacred relics? And, most intriguingly, what happened to it after Moses' time? Could it still exist today, hidden in the depths of history? This is the legend of the staff of Moses, the hand of God. The staff of Moses, an object of faith, authority, and unimaginable power. It appears in some of the most pivotal moments in biblical history, wielded by a man chosen to lead his people to freedom. But the concept of a divine staff is not unique to Moses. Across the ancient world, staffs were not just walking sticks, they were symbols of power, often seen as instruments of divine authority. In Egyptian culture, pharaohs and priests carried ceremonial rods, often topped with sacred symbols representing their dominion over the land and the god's favor. In Mesopotamian mythology, staffs were associated with gods and kings, signifying control over nature, wisdom, and justice. Yet, among all these legends, the staff of Moses stands apart. Unlike these other rods, it was not merely a symbol, it was a direct instrument of miracles, a tool through which the divine intervened in the world. Today, we uncover its origins, its wielders, its miraculous powers, and the mystery of its fate. Moses begins long before the plagues of Egypt. Before he was a prophet, Moses was a shepherd, living in exile in the land of Midian. Like all shepherds, he carried a simple wooden staff, nothing more than a tool to guide and protect his flock. But then, in a moment of divine revelation, everything changed. At the burning bush, God called Moses to lead the Israelites out of slavery. Yet Moses doubted. He questioned how anyone would believe him. In response, God performed the first of many miracles through the staff. When Moses cast it to the ground, it transformed into a living serpent, and when he grasped it again, it returned to a staff. This was not just a demonstration of power. It was a sign that the staff itself was now an instrument of divine authority. From that moment forward, the staff would be at the center of Moses' mission. It was with this staff that Moses and his brother Aaron stood before Pharaoh, turning the Nile into blood and summoning plagues upon Egypt. It was with this staff that Moses struck the earth, bringing forth swarms of locusts, storms of hail, and darkness over the land. But perhaps its most famous act was at the Red Sea. As the Israelites stood trapped between the water and Pharaoh's approaching army, Moses lifted his staff, and the sea parted. A pathway of dry land opened before them, allowing them to escape. And when the Egyptian forces followed, the sea crashed down, sealing their fate. Even after the Exodus, the staff continued to serve as a vessel of divine power. When the Israelites faced starvation and thirst in the wilderness, Moses used the staff to strike a rock, and from it gushed water, a symbol of survival and divine provision. But after Moses' time, the whereabouts of the staff became a mystery, its fate lost to history. Moses is the most famous wielder of the divine staff, but he was not the only one. Before Moses, His brother Aaron wielded a rod that also displayed miraculous power. Some sources suggest that Aaron's staff and Moses' staff were one and the same, while others claim they were separate artifacts, each imbued with divine energy. Aaron's staff played a key role in Pharaoh's court. When Egyptian magicians attempted to replicate Moses' miracles, Aaron cast down his staff, and it turned into a serpent that devoured the false serpents conjured by the magicians. Later, during the rebellion of Korah, Aaron's staff was placed in the tabernacle, where it miraculously bloomed with almond blossoms, a sign that he was the rightful high priest of Israel. Beyond biblical tradition, there are also theories that the staff had an even older history. Some religious scholars claim it was passed down from the patriarchs, possibly originating with Adam himself as a relic from Eden. Others believe it was an ancient Egyptian artifact, possibly connected to the scepters of pharaohs or the staffs of high priests. The question remains, was Moses' staff a unique object, created for a specific purpose? Or was it part of a larger tradition of sacred relics that spanned multiple cultures? If you're enjoying this page of the Codex, remember to subscribe down below for more like it. If you have an idea for the next video essay, please reach out with a comment down below so we can check it out, because we love you and we want you to be involved as a community. Now back to the video. Like the Ark of the Covenant and the Holy Grail, the staff of Moses has long been the subject of speculation and mystery. But what happened to it after Moses' time? Some traditions claim it was placed in the tabernacle, later moved to King Solomon's temple. When Jerusalem fell to the Babylonians in 586 BCE, the temple's treasures disappeared. Was the staff among them, taken as war plunder, or hidden away by priests who foresaw the city's destruction? Others believe it was secretly transported to Egypt or Ethiopia, possibly stored in a sacred sanctuary. Another theory suggests it was concealed beneath the Temple Mount, lost beneath centuries of rubble and secrecy, its existence known only to a select few. During the Crusades, the Knights Templar scoured the Holy Land for biblical relics, digging beneath Jerusalem's sacred sites. Some speculate they sought not just the Ark, but the staff of Moses itself, believing it held divine power that could shape the fate of nations. Even today, treasure hunters and historians search for clues in the ruins of Sinai, the Vatican archives, and ancient Jewish and Islamic texts. If the staff was truly imbued with divine energy, could it have been hidden away to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands? Or was it simply lost to time, buried beneath the sands of the very lands where its miracles once took place? Whatever the truth, the search continues, and the legend of the staff of Moses endures. The staff of Moses was not just a symbol, it was an instrument of power, a divine tool that shaped the course of history. What gave it this extraordinary ability? Was it merely a physical channel for God's miracles, or was there something inherent in the staff itself? Some religious traditions claim that the staff was created at the dawn of time, forged by God himself, and passed down through the generations. According to Jewish midrashic texts, it was one of 10 sacred objects crafted at the very moment of creation, intended to serve divine purposes throughout history. Others believe the staff may have been made from the tree of life, a relic from the Garden of Eden itself, imbued with supernatural energy. There are also theories that the staff was not just a tool of miracles, but a weapon of divine judgment. In the book of Exodus, we see a distinct pattern. It strikes the Nile, turning it to blood. It summons storms and darkness upon Egypt. It strikes the earth, unleashing plagues of locusts. It parts the Red Sea, allowing the Israelites to escape. It brings forth water from solid rock, defying natural law. The Kabbalistic tradition even suggests that the staff contained inscriptions of divine names, hidden codes that allowed Moses to perform miracles. If so, could the staff have functioned as an ancient tool of spiritual energy, similar to mystical wands or relics of other traditions? Whatever the truth may be, the staff of Moses was undeniably one of the most powerful relics in biblical history. Whether a conduit of divine intervention or a symbol of faith's ability to move mountains, its legend continues to endure. The staff of Moses is more than an ancient relic. It is a symbol of transformation and faith. Whether lost to time or waiting to be rediscovered, it remains one of the most compelling artifacts in religious history. But what truly makes the staff remarkable is not just the miracles it performed, but what it represents. It was a tool of divine intervention, yet also an instrument of leadership and responsibility. Unlike a weapon forged for war, the staff was a symbol of guidance, faith, and perseverance. Through it, Moses led his people to freedom, not by conquest, but by belief and determination. Its legacy is still felt today. The image of a shepherd's staff as a symbol of leadership appears throughout religious traditions, representing the idea that true power comes from serving others. The miracles attributed to the staff are all tied to the themes of change and survival. It suggests that faith is not passive but active, something that can transform the world when wielded with conviction. And then there is the question of its fate. Did the staff vanish with Moses, lost in the sands of time? Was it hidden away as a sacred relic, waiting to be uncovered? Or was its power never in the object itself, but in the hands of the one who wielded it? Perhaps the greatest lesson of the staff of Moses is that its true power was never in the wood it was carved from, but in the belief it inspired. Whether it was a divine artifact or a simple shepherd's tool, it became a symbol of something far greater, the power to change the course of history. And that power is something that doesn't disappear. It is passed down, retold, and reinterpreted, shaping new generations just as it shaped the past. Whether the staff itself still exists may never be known, but the impact of the stories surrounding it continues to shape the way we understand faith, leadership, and the mysteries of the ancient world. If you made it this far in the video, we think you probably liked it, so please make sure to subscribe to get a steady stream of endless historic and mythical lore. It will only take you a second. Thanks for subscribing. We'll see you next time.